This is a warning. This episode contains elements of rape, sexual abuse, drug addiction, kidnapping, and should be for adults only. Okay, everyone. The individual that we're interviewing today has written a book in reference to her life's traumas. It's something that all individuals, male, females, go through during their lives or could go through. So we want to open up and let you hear her story, which would help probably others deal with the trauma that they may have had similar to hers. So I'm going to first introduce this young lady to you all and let her tell you her story. But first we're going to get an introduction from her, and she's going to tell us who she is, some basic background information. So we're going to call her Miss SC.
Well, I grew up in a small part of New Orleans called the Lower Ninth Ward, but I grew up in a rather large family for its aunts and uncles. But I want to talk about some things that I have discovered in my life's journey about me pertaining to sexual trauma and arrested development. And I know there are many women and men who can relate to sexual trauma, rape, or arrested development. First of all, sexual trauma, just to give a little definition, or rape of a child, sexual abuse, sex trafficking, or any non-consensual sexual act according to federal law is sexual trauma. Arrested development refers to incomplete or prematurely halted development encompassing physical, psychological, or technical aspects to characterize a form of mental disorder comprising severe mental impairment resulting in lack of intelligence. So, and this is my story. Okay, so I was sexually abused as a child by an uncle and a great cousin as a child, which was never addressed or never spoken of. At the age of 15, I was gang raped by a group of teen boys, which resulted in severe trauma for me at the time, but I wasn't aware of it then. And because I feel in those days, something like that happening in the family was not something you can talk about. It was something that you kept a secret. So that was the secret with me, but it caused me to act out. I didn't understand the feelings I was going through at the time. I just knew I was angry and I was ashamed and I felt dirty no matter where I went. I was a straight A student. I loved school. School was fun to me, and then it became difficult for me to participate in. I couldn't keep my grades up. I couldn't sit in a class for more than a few minutes. It just was too overwhelmingly difficult. At the time, I was struggling with anxiety, PTSD, but it wasn't diagnosed. But I had the symptoms because I couldn't function in a school setting. I began to use drugs. I was introduced to smoking marijuana at that age. Everything was introduced to me then at 15 because I started smoking marijuana just to go to school because I was able to relax. So I was able to go to school. But it was short lived. I didn't have an income. I couldn't keep getting marijuana. I mean, it wasn't something that I could purchase all the time. So I still had to deal with my inability to go to school. But because of the rape that happened and going to the police station to report it and how I was treated like I was the one in the wrong, that my mom never really enforced for me to go to school. She just really didn't know how to deal with what I was going through. So I stayed home, which was not good either, because then that allowed me to get into other things, because we live by the Florida Project. And so I was introduced to cocaine by a cousin she would go to the project to get it and then come by our house. So, but she helped me to get employment since I wasn't in school. And also at that time, me being introduced to cocaine at such a young age was also traumatizing. So here I am, all of these things back to back happened to me at the age of 15. So I'm stuck in this time zone mentally. But even though years go by, I'm growing, but the trauma have you like you stuck in a time zone. And that's how I was. I'm supposed to be developing and I'm supposed to be progressing, but I'm not, because I could only function as a 15-year-old at the time. And that's where I had been for years. Even as an adult, even giving birth to my children, I was still stuck in that time, in that era, because the trauma had never been addressed. It never went away, which it doesn't go away. It has to be, I want to say, resolved, or you have to come to some sort of acceptance. And I had not, because I still was feeling shameful and dirty and like I did not want to be that person. So, and in the drug culture, I embraced it because I didn't have to be that person anymore. I didn't have to be that little girl. I became totally somebody else. And so that is the world I embrace, even though it brought me to a lot of other traumatic situations. I got raped more than once behind drugs. I've been kidnapped 3 times behind drugs. I had my throat cut. Just so many traumas after another. But in that lifestyle is accepted and expected. So you expect, this is what you're going to go through, and you're used to it. So you just relive it over and over, which is abnormal, and it's dangerous, because I really shouldn't be here today, because I could have been killed so many times. But I thank God I'm here to tell my story that can maybe help somebody else.
Okay, I hope you understand the seriousness of this podcast. This is only part 1. Because of the nature of this episode, I've broken out into parts 1, which you're hearing today, and part 2, which is going to be forthcoming. Stay tuned and be wise. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life.